seated.
Good afternoon, councillors. Welcome to this first ordinary meeting of the County Council. In the absence of the chaplain, Councillor Copeland has kindly offered to say prayers. Councillor Copeland, please. Stand.
As you know, I'm more nervous about this than anything else I've ever done in council. Somebody said yesterday I've got my tablet, has it got the Ten Commandments on it? No, it hasn't, and neither is it my headstone. So that's the end of the jokes, because I'm not very good at this. I can't do stories like Father used to do when we were entertained a couple of years ago. So Daniel said about God, he changes times and seasons, he sets up kings and deposed them, he gives them wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. So there's a prayer from the Church of England for Parliament, and I thought, well, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us. And whether you believe in God or not, I think there's things in here that we can all dwell on. So, Lord, the God of righteousness and truth, grant to our Queen and her government, and I've changed it a bit, the Mayor and all members of Copeland Borough Council, and all in positions of responsibility, the guidance of your Spirit. May they never lead the nation or this borough wrongly through love of power, desire to please, or unworthy ideals, but laying aside all private interests and prejudices. Keep in mind their responsibility to seek to improve the condition of all mankind, so that your kingdom and your name be hallowed. Amen.
Amen. Councillors, I am sad to inform you that George Usher, former councillor and leader of Copeland Borough Council, died recently. George represented the Newtown Ward on the council from 1995 to 2003, serving as deputy leader from 2001 and 2002, and as leader from 2002 to 2003. I am sure you will all join me in sending his family our sincere condolences. Thank you. I now have some general housekeeping announcements that I wish to make before we start the business on the agenda. Firstly, there are no planned fire alarms this afternoon, so if the alarms do sound, then please leave by the emergency exit at the back of the room and assemble in the car park. Secondly, this meeting is being recorded when you speak. Please ensure your microphone is switched on and please speak clearly into it. Finally, filming and recording of this meeting is allowed, but please do so in accordance with the protocol, which is clearly displayed in the room. And please ensure that all mobile devices are switched on to silent. The Council Communication team is filming this meeting, and the film will be uploaded to our website. Agenda item 1, apologies. Are there any apologies for absence? Okay.
Sorry, Chair. Councillor Cullen and Councillors Jackie Bowman and John Bowman.
And David Riley.
And David Riley.
Can you put Peter Stevens on as well?
Mr Chairman, if Councillor Guest hasn't already done so, could submit Councillor Guest's apologies. I understand his father just recently passed away. Thank you.
Agenda item 2, declaration of interest. With members with disclosable pecuniary interest or any other disclosable non-pecuniary interest, please declare them now or do so as soon as they arise. No wish to claim any interest. Okay. Agenda item 3, minutes of the annual meeting held on 1st of June 2015. Are the minutes agreed as a correct record?
Agreed, but can I ask a question, Mr. Mayor? I don't see anywhere on the agenda where we can question anything that were on those minutes. Can we not comment on the minutes?
No. No.
Right, thank you.
Councillor Foley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's just, I noticed there's something missing off the minutes. The elected mayor did give a good speech on behalf of representing the council and thanking Elaine Woodburn for all her work. It isn't included in the minutes.
Noted. Councillor Johnson.
Yes, I also remember my colleague next to me standing up and thanking the previous mayor, and he's missed out, that Councillor Sunderland has missed out of having represented the independents in thanking her for her work. And also, I believe David usually has the same sentence.
Well, then, what shall we accept with a true record?
Agreed.
Okay. Agenda item 4, Chairman's announcements. There are no Chairman's announcements today. The Chairman will present a full account of his civics activities at the September meeting of the Council. Agenda item 5, petitions. There are no petitions. Agenda item 6 is questions from members of the public. There are no questions from members of the public. Agenda item 7 is questions by councillors. Item 7A, oral questions to the Mayor. Do we have any questions, please? Councillor Connolly?
I'm getting in on this minute. I'm going to ask about the change of the itinerary of meetings for the forthcoming year. They were passed without any comment at the annual general meeting. Now, in the past, it happened when I was deputy leader, we stopped having them because of cost. I was wondering if the mayor has costed fully the costs of these meetings in various parts of Copeland. I know it was in his agenda when he put himself forward in there to move around the area, but has it been costed for the overtime for staff, for travelling for members and for hire of halls? Is there a budget for this, and has it been costed fully? Thank you.
Thanks for your question, Councillor Connolly. What I would say is, you're right, it was in the manifesto that we were going to move around the borough to give all of the people of the borough an opportunity to attend council. Like everything else that we have to do now, you've got to take into account the cost, but you've got to balance that against the value. I think there's a real value in giving the public an opportunity all around this borough and to be completely inclusive. I do feel with some of the other work that we're doing on communications, we'll get better attendance as we go forward, as we start moving around the borough. And as we'll be talking about later, I'm about to embark on a series of public meetings, of Meet the Mayor meetings, where I intend to go to Millen, to Seascale, Cleatonua, Egremont, and back here in Whitehaven. And at those meetings I'll be inviting the local councillors of those surrounding areas of those places to join, and the county councillors, so the public get an opportunity to meet with all their elected representatives at the same time. So yeah, I'm very much aware of the cost, but I think there's a real value in what we're trying to achieve. And then when we get to the end of the 12-month run, we'll review how successful or not that's been and take a decision if we pursue that for the remaining term.
Any more questions? Councillor Reid?
Right. This is my main question right of the councillor, so please bear with me. Right. With regard to the beacon,
Councillor Reid, would you please stand?
Oh, sorry. With regard to the beacon, Mike, because that's in my ward, would it be possible if I could have some paperwork regarding the ingoings and outgoings and whether footfall has actually increased since it's been refurbished? I know you probably can't give me those details now.
I can give you some of the figures now. For the 10 months it ran in 2014-15, the total income for the beacon was 472,000 against expenditure of 402,000, so the surplus of just under 70,000. Going forward, the projected income for 2015 and 16 is 676,000 against expenditure of 657. And there's also going to be a capital expenditure programme of over £1 million that's all coming from external funding. The Beacon has just recently appointed a commercial manager who's just been in place in recent weeks, so we'll be looking all the time at developing the Beacon's commerciality. In terms of council commercialism, the Beacon's flagship, we've got a forum for a number of other things that we intend to do. And I anticipate that we will start turning up profits from the Beacon going forward.
Thank you for that.
Councillor Foster.
Chair, I've got a question from Councillor Sam Pollen to the Mayor.
Sorry, come later on.
Sorry?
We've got a question later on, come on the next agenda.
Okay.
Councillor Roberts, you want to speak?
No, thank you, Chair. No.
Councillor Sunderland.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just wondering if I could seek clarification as to parking arrangements and whether parking arrangements which have been provided hitherto will continue. For quite some time, and I'm sure all members will be aware, for quite some time there was arrangements whereby for meetings such as this, evening meetings, any business that the council had to attend the council offices for after 4:30 in the afternoon. At one time we were given permits which entitled us to park in nominated designated bays in the marked car parking areas, some of which I think are now visitor bays and some of which are specifically designated as certain officers and employees bays. But it was always, I think, the understanding that we could have the availability of any spaces which were empty when we were to arrive at 4:30. I was just wondering if this was an arrangement which would continue, and if so, whether we would be provided with such passes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Car parking is a hot issue all over the Council of Sunderland. What I can commit to is that car parking is going to form part of the major policy review. So that all of the car parking arrangements are under review and very much close to the very top of the agenda. And hopefully we'll have something to come back with very soon.
I appreciate the answer, thank you very much, but with the greatest of respect, it didn't particularly address the question, which was whether the arrangements which have been appertaining to the two were to continue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, if I be able to assist there. Councillor's quite right in terms of the arrangement for parking for members and the 4:30 cut-off, and I know we've had a number of discussions regarding that over the years. I'm not aware that policy has changed at this stage. I think we've got some catching up to do in terms of recirculating the arrangements and how that might work, and providing the appropriate passes and the arrangements for which parking bays are to be used, etc. So if you could bear with us whilst we tidy that administration up and get that information back out to members.
Any more questions? Okay. Item 7B, written questions of councillors. We have one written question from Councillor Sam Pollen, and I ask Councillor Alan Foster to please read out Councillor Pollen's questions on his behalf.
Thank you, Chair. Written question from Councillor Sam Pollen to the Mayor. We, CBC, are living wage employers and, like the Mayor, committed to the principles of pay the living wage. It is completely unacceptable that the largest employer in Copeland, Cumbria, can pay executives hundreds of thousands of pounds and at the same time allow some local workers to be employed on the poverty wage on 0-hour contracts. This question was first brought last year to the Council, and I will continue to ask the same question until Sellafield or the NDA gave a satisfactory answer. Sellafield Limited has been unable to confirm if any employers are being paid less than the living wage or they employed on a 0-hour contract on the Sellafield site. Could the Mayor please ask John Clark, NDA CEO, to provide this information, please?
I can confirm that we've established a dialogue with John Clark from the NDA, and like Councillor Pollen, I share his concerns and believing that everyone should get a living wage. My understanding is the employees at Sellafield Limited are all above the living wage, but it may not apply to everybody who works on the site. We've got a number of initiatives that we're working towards with the supply chain and things that we're trying to develop, and that will form a major part of the discussions with all potential partners, and certainly the dialogue with Sellafield Limited and the NDA will continue to make sure that we come back with all the answers the Council's looking for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 8 is the Mayor's executive report. The Mayor.
Before I go into the executive report, I just thought it appropriate at the first full meeting of the new administration to report back to Council what I've been doing for the first 5 or 6 weeks. It has been a particularly busy time with the induction. I thought I'd just give you some feedback on the initial activities, initial thoughts and your planned forward direction. First of all, I'd like to thank the officers. The induction, as I said, has been extremely busy with an unbelievable amount of meetings with different partners, and that's been set up deliberately by the officers. I think we should also understand that from an officer's point of view, when you get a change on the scale that we've had, with an independent elected mayor coming in, which is the first in the county, it can be at the very least a little bit unsettling. I think over the first few weeks of council, we've established a pretty strong working relationship, and I can only commend them on some of the work and some of the things I've observed from all the officers and all the staff throughout the council. In terms of the members, I've met with a number of you now, who've sort of individually coming in and at various meetings. And I'm delighted with the way that the administration has set up, with the first ever cross-party executive, and that's feeding through the committees, and everyone sat here together today. And I can't begin to quantify what a strong message that's sending out when we're having the meetings with external partners, how good it looks that we look like we're a united front representing Copeland. In terms of the staff, over the last couple of weeks I've run meetings with all the staff, starting off at Morrisby, ran 2 meetings in Whitehaven, I went down and met the staff in Millen to try and communicate to the staff the forward strategy, the forward thinking, and just outline some of the thoughts and keeping them fully aligned. As you can appreciate, it's been pretty austere times in recent times, and difficult decisions have had to be made, and that has a sapping effect on people's morale. So what we're trying to do is engage with the staff as much as possible so they can understand clearly the direction that we're taking and the potential impact, hopefully positively, on them. And the feedback that I'm getting from the staff and the information that's coming through the suggestion box is that it's impacting positively. I've been to 1 parish council meeting so far, and I intend to try and get around all the parish council meetings, because along with working alongside members, when there's initiatives kicking off and the impact, for example, if I've got an initiative that's kicking off in Egremont, I want the egrement surrounding councillors involved from day one, so they're not kept in the dark and they're not reading about things in the paper, and they can add their voice and their opinion to what we're trying to achieve. And that extends whether it be in Clayton Mill, whether it be in Seasky or Millen or any other parts of the borough. Numerous meetings have been held with the media. Good to see Andrew along today. I think we're already seeing some positive output from the media, some real positive reporting last week, some positive reporting of the new executive and the new administration. And it's starting, I was at the Whitehaven Festival over the weekend and getting out and about and around the town. There is a little bit of a feel-good factor starting to build up in the press. And the radio and the television media, we've had the board of television down here doing a day in the life, taking some great shots of the area and getting an understanding of what we're trying to achieve, and all that is feeding through that we're starting to get some positive impact from the public. Karen's doing a fantastic job with the internal communications team as well, so we set up the Facebook page, we're getting communications out in around the Coombe and in CCL magazine, the North West Evening Mail, in addition to what we're doing with the Whitehaven News, and we're trying to create this momentum and people starting to get back a little bit of civic pride and talking the area up. Again, the events were very positive. There's been two big major events in Whitehaven over the last 6 weeks that have been really, really well supported. We really want to work with people in the area, the community groups who drive these events, to make sure they continue to be as successful as what they've been before, and even more successful going forward. I had some very, very interesting meetings where you've got to learn to understand all the different associations and relationships the council have with the local enterprise partnership. I've now taken my place upon the board because Copeland, the Copeland and Allerdale representative over the next 2 years. There's been some negative press around the LEP. I was saying in the paper a couple of weeks ago, it was the second worst performing LEP in the country, and of 120 businessmen at Reghead, none of them had anything good to say. That is a government funding vehicle, and what I'll be doing for both Copeland and Allerdale is representing our views and trying to turn that around, because it can make a lot of difference in the funding that we're going to need. I've also taken up my board position with the British Energy Course, with the Copeland Community Fund, with another CCF, another community funding organisation. Met with the Beacon, and met with St. Bees School, and a lot of lessons to be learned from St. Bees School in everything we do in terms of keeping people engaged, in terms of being open and transparent, and engaging properly with people along the way. But the local government association up, and I've been in meetings with the County Council, Allerdale Council, Barrow Council, and there's a lot of synergies and things that we can work on as we start developing our strategy, working alongside those groups. Very, very productive meetings with Sellafield Limited, the NDA, Newgen, LLWR, and Business Against Crime, among other meetings, and all this really has helped me get a real understanding of the people the council engages with, how these things link together, and has really set a good platform for formulating the corporate strategy going forward. We'll talk a little bit as we go through the executive report about the financials, and there's some good, strong news in there. We've got an £836,000 saving that's come as a result of efficiencies that's been driven, and then I'd like to pay tribute to the former administration for the work they've done that, because it's put us in a position to go forward where we've got choices. Because we're in a steam world, we can cut and we can cut and we cut, we can only ever cut away the fat, and then you cut the muscle. And now we've got to take the choices to take us forward where we start generating the income, and we're now in the stage of starting to formulate the policies that will help us do that. In terms of the investments the council make, we had and again it'll come on to the Treasury outturn report, we had a budget to make 200,000 and made 252,000, and that is a positive move forward. But coming from the world I come from, and you know what I do in my professional life, just quickly glancing through that report for a no increase in risk, those investments can turn a lot more money around. And you know, just by looking through at where the money was invested, the term it was invested on, and the rates that were obtained, you know, there wasn't a single rate where I don't know where there's a no risk investment that's better. So you know, even in terms of the money that we've already got, we can already see a way where we can get a better return. You know, again, I'd like to thank the executive team, and Mike has joined us as a political advisor. You know, working together really, really well. You know, representing all members of the council strongly and getting all views put forward to the table and getting some proper debate and a couple of interesting debates around the executive meeting last week. And it's particularly healthy. So, you know, we have got, you know, we're in the situation now with all this information on sort of where there's a clear forward plan starting to emerge, how we take things forward. You know, I've talked right through sort of my campaign, you know, it's all about engagement. You know, engagement with the public, as I've already said, I do intend to hold public meetings all over the borough because you can get some great, you know, feed forward and feedback from the people that are elected us to represent them, so we want to involve them as much as possible in the democratic process. You know, be very, very inclusive. You know, I'm interested in the views of everybody within the council, be it staff, be it member, be it executive. So, you know, if you've got views, if you've got ideas, bring them forward. And when we're coming down and we're looking at things in particular areas of the borough, we'll be sure to include all the councillors around there. Again, it's you know, it extends to, you know, I'm delighted to see Ozzy turn up again, and you know, at every single meeting. I think it's, you know, quite remarkable. And, you know, I want to try and, you know, involve the aldermen of the council and get them involved, because there's years and years of experience. And, you know, we're already looking at nominating, going forward, some more aldermen and tapping into that experience. You know, we always talk about we should include the youth and you know, we should include everybody, but, you know, we sometimes forget, you know, there's an awful lot of experience that's gone through years of council, and we can tap into that. So, you know, later in the year we'll bring the aldermen together for a lunch and a bit of a conference. We'll get their contribution into what they've learned and what they've done. You'll have read in the press where we've already set up the business network. You know, a real key going forward is that we start getting what we deserve and taking some of what is ours. You know, there's a 2.1 billion annual supply chain where that money is generated here in Copeland, and we really need to make sure that we get our share. We've set the business network up, and that's going to be chaired and run by John Rowlands from Roma. You know, I've asked John to do that because he's an ideal role model of what we're trying to achieve. You know, he's a guy who walked out an instrument mechanics role in Southfield because he spotted an opportunity in the supply chain and developed a very, very significant business. You know, joining John is John Wilson from Bears Wilson, Stephen Lancaster from Penn Farms and Kids, who've made a huge investment with the new shop in Whitehaven, where they're here to stay. Brian Watson's on board as the former managing director of Southfield, and he'll be able to really help us negotiate some of the barriers, because I would guess he put some of them in the way in his former role. So, you know, getting Brian on board and to understand things from their side is really positive. Paul Murphy, the Young Businessman of the Year, well, not young, he's young, but he was voted the Businessman of the Year in West Cumbria last year, is on board. Pete Willihan, who runs React Engineering. Also coming on board, Paul Scott, the Managing Director of Shepley's, Mike Tynan, the former Chief Executive Officer from Westinghouse, Dave Polkey, the Managing Director of Atkins, Ray Tomlin from Cars Billington, who's in agriculture. So, you know, what we're pulling together is some of the best business brains and entrepreneurs to help us tap into that supply chain, and the cost of that to this council is zero. Nothing. These people are doing that and they're working with us because they care about Cumbria and they care about Copeland and they care about making sure we start getting what we deserve out of that side of supply chain, because it can turn this borough on its head if we get that right. You know, I'm also sort of looking at engaging with, you know, bringing on board a people's forum. that will be made of people from the youth parliament, from ex-councillors, from community groups. I have no intention of fighting with community groups. I have every intention of embracing with them and understanding their issues and getting them involved as well. I had a discussion with Professor John Fife, who many will know, and John Fife is keen to head the People's Panel up. We couldn't get anybody better. He was a guy who advised Nelson Mandela. Was even invited to his funeral and advises governments around the world, so that he's offering his services to Copeland free of charge. It's a huge step forward. So there's been a fair bit going on. We're now starting to form policy strategies to link all these things together. Hopefully a lot what we've done around communications will start improving morale. All the staff meetings we did around it improving morale, because as I always say, a motivated person will do more in 20 hours than an unmotivated person will do in 20 weeks. And if we can really start bringing the commercialisation of this council to life with the expertise that we've got alongside us now to help us deliver that, we can turn it, we can show this is not just a catchphrase, this is going to become our reality, and that in itself should really start generating opportunities to start growing the council back again and generating some of the missing revenues. Again, coming back to the offices, one of the parts of the work that I thought I would have to undertake when I took up the role were a complete overhaul and review and understanding of all the services. I've now gone through the service review reports that have been largely led by Fiona, and I'm delighted to find that a lot of the work that I thought I was going to have to embark on is almost complete, but it's put us again in a situation where the reviews have been conducted to a fantastic standard, and we're now in a situation where we can make choices. We choose how we want to take those reviews forward. I'm sort of clear in the strategy that I want to take. In terms of, you're hearing about a lot of councils subcontracting the work off. In my view, if a subcontractor wants to take work, it's because he can make money from it. If they can, we can, and we will. And that will keep our people in jobs. It'll start extending the roles, and where other councils on our periphery are subcontracting those services off, we'll tender for them, and hopefully, their understanding of the pressures of local government will work with us, and we can start developing those opportunities as well. Quick overview, a long introduction to one report. Probably should have done that before you ask the questions, because it might have sparked a few more, but I am happy before the board, if anybody wants to ask any questions on that, I am happy to take those.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is the motion seconded? Do any of the members wish to move an amendment or speak? Councillor.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm pleased to say that the Mayor passed paid tribute to the previous administration. I'm surprised, commenting on the first paragraph of your report. I'm pleased to note that £836,000 surplus in the outturn for the last financial year, 2014-2015. This is no mean feat given the challenging circumstances and the financial constraints placed upon the council. And this has occurred because of the sheer hard work of the previous administration and the staff. And I think that as a council we should show and record our appreciation.
Thank you, Councillor Whelan. Councillor Charlton.
I've got a question about the finance part of the report. I learnt a few days ago that our Section 151 officer, which is a statutory appointment made by full council, has left. Can, I presume it's you, Mike, under your portfolio, tell me when she left and why that was, and why we as councillors weren't informed that our Section 151 had left the council, And finally, what plans are in place for the recruitment and replacement to that post?
Chairman, if you wish, I'll hopefully be able to respond to that. As members will be aware, the previous review of the corporate leadership team identified two posts, one a Director of Resources and Commissioning and a Chief Finance Officer role, which was going to take us through the financial year 15-16, and a review to take place during that year with the possibility of those two roles being consolidated into one. As part of that process, we also have to look to go out to procure the services of the Chief Finance Officer. That's a legal requirement given the level of expenditure that's been incurred. And we've been through a procurement process, and we've got a number of candidates who've expressed an interest in that process. Angela George, who was the previous Section 151 officer, contract ended on the 31st of March, and we're now looking at the arrangements for continuation of the Chief Finance Officer role and the options for filling that role on a permanent basis. In the meantime, the designated Deputy Section 151 officer is sat to my right, and he continues to fulfil that role on behalf of the Council. Updates on the arrangements for the final proposals was something I would share with members as we would normally share any updates on. And if there's any further details that I can help with Councillor Troughton, I'm happy to do that separately.
Thanks for that clarification, Paul, and it wasn't supposed to be any slight on David, because obviously I've worked closely with David in the past, and it was just that because it's a statutory appointment that this council made, I felt that the council should be informed that the previous post holder had left.
Thank you. Councillor Norwood. Councillor Norwood, do you want to speak?
No.
That should be rescinded.
Councillor Alan Holiday.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under the, on page 6, under working differently, part of the minute goes on to say about the market hall. As you know, I was part of that original work that looked at that. And there's no mention there about the public conveyances, because it was always our intention to reopen the public conveyances at the market hall. And I just wanted to know if that was still the case, as you know, it was part of our long-term objective.
As Council Holiday, yes, I can confirm that the toilets will open to the public when the market hall is opened.
Thank you.
Councillor McVeigh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor. It all sounds very promising, Michael, but we are still under the austerity programme of the last government and the present government. Will you be writing to a Manchester government as an independent, no political bias from you, so totally independent, asking are they to carry on with this totally unfair austerity that is a burden, a massive burden to us, who's dependent upon this. And the southern authorities are not getting it. They are getting increases. We are still under austerity. Will you please make sure that you're right to our government, telling her that we are where we are. I want to know what they're doing about it.
As Councillor McVeigh, in terms of the we'll hear very soon from the emergency budget that's going to be held in July. What I can confirm is that I will be finding Copeland's corner in every corner. In the coming weeks, there's a meeting lined up with the Government Minister, Greg Clark, and there's numerous things on the agenda that I think we can leverage a difference for Copeland. Or will add for what it's worth is, I don't believe whoever had been in government, the cuts would have been reversed. They are what they are, and we were left with a situation where we take the choice of managing decline or managing differently. I think we've done a lot of managing differently to put us in a position, and I think there's other things we can now do forward in addition to lobbying government. Well, I can assure you that yes, we will be definitely doing that.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Is that agreed? Agenda item 9 is appointment of the Mayor's political advisor.
Just for a point of, sorry, just for a point of note, agenda item 9, I've spoken now of 4 group meetings and the announcement put out. Mike Graham was appointed political advisor in May, and he's working with myself and the executive. My only sort of comment would be that it was an appointment made by myself. I thought Mike was the best man for the job. Now I'm absolutely certain he's doing a fantastic job working with both myself and the executive.
Agreed?
Mr. Chairman, I did have a question, and I was aware that, sorry, Mr. Chairman, I did have a question, and I was aware that my colleague, Councillor Mathia, had indicated that he had a question, and I was waiting you to come to him, and then assumed that you would come to me. We do have questions.
I didn't see you put any hands up.
I think Councillor Mathia's hand was seen, I think, Mr. Chairman.
I'll take a question. Councillor Mathia?
Yeah, it's just on the procedure, Chair. Sorry, Chair, just on the procedure. I was under the impression that we were going to go through the whole report with the different portfolio holders, and it seemed as if we sort of jumped in and the mayor's finished, and then it seems as if we were going to move on to the next item on the agenda. However, I had a question on page 9, which is for Councillor David Mill.
No, you can't go back to another item. That's been agreed to now. Sorry.
Well, I find it one question on agenda item 9, Mr. Chairman.
We've already agreed with that, sorry, Mr.
No. Agenda item 9, Mr. Chairman, the appointment of the Mayor Advisor.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. You'll have to bear with me, please, Mr. Mayor. I'm suffering a bit with back pain and leg pain, and every now and again I have acute pain and taking a breath away. I'll do my best, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. The question simply was that when the announcement was first made, and I think there was 1 or 2 press releases, it's about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, isn't it, confirming the appointment of Mike Graham as the political advisor, there was a little paragraph or a section that I do recall quite clearly that said a job description would be provided in due course. I just wondered if that job description is available, not only for members of the council, but for members of the public as well. So that members of the public, council taxpayers, at the end of the day, who ultimately are the people, sorry Mr. Chairman, who council taxpayers at the end of the day, who ultimately are the people who are paying the wages, I think they are entitled to know exactly what they are paying for. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Mayor?
Councillor, yes, there is a job description and it can be made available to all councillors.
I mean, it would not be, in terms of our current arrangements, as you know, those officer posts which exceed the £50,000 cut off, those salaries and those job descriptions are made public, and they're there for all to see in the council's website. There is a job description to support this post, as you would imagine there could be, and I think if the elected mayor is comfortable with that, then happy to circulate that to members if that would be helpful by way of information. There is, in the interest of transparency, I'm happy to share that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is that agreed then? Agenda item 10 is the committee membership. Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Chair. I think this comes under both myself and Rena. The changes have been put forward by Lena's group, and we have no objections to them. So they're just those recommendations are just for agreement. Thank you.
Is the motion seconded? Thank you. Do any of the members wish to move an amendment or speak? No. Is that agreed? Thank you for your attendance today. Sorry about that. We'll try to get away. Agenda count, item 11 is the local authority standing orders regulations, 2015. Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Chair. In moving these recommendations forward, it is a statutory duty that we have to do this. The appeals panel is only to deal with appeals regarding the head of paid services, 151 officer and the monitoring officer. Those are the only three people that are covered by this legislation. The panel is set up. We are recommending that our two independents that currently sit on the standards panel and have worked on appeals before, they have had the training, so we're recommending them to you that we believe they should come onto the panel. As regarding the rest of the panel, should one need to be set up, it can be called from any one of the 51 councillors, members of those 51 councillors, to sit on that appeals group. So I'll just recommend those recommendations to council.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? Seconded. Do any of the members wish to move an amendment or speak? Councillor Mattea.
Yes, Chair, it's just an observation rather than a question. If we're going to use material from other authorities, can we make sure, please, that we amend it so that it fits in with our particular authority? What on page 18, we're talking about city councils there. Thank you, sir. Chairman.
Thank you, Chair. Just in response to that, what I can say is that this has been adopted by the 6 districts and the county council within Cumbria. So all the districts and the county council are all signing up to this model as it is now. I can't speak wider than that. Thank you.
Any more questions? Is that agreed? Agenda item 12 is Treasury Management Outturn. Mr. Mayor.
Now, just bringing everyone's attention to point 2 on the Treasury Management Outturn, it just sort of confirms what I spoke about earlier, that on a 200,000 budget on the investments, we actually come in 52,000 over the budget on the investments. But the proposal we passed the motion.
Is the motion seconded? Seconded. Do any of the members wish to move an amendment or speak? Is that agreed?
Agreed.
This is what I'm trying to get to. Thank you for your attendance today, and that concludes the business of the meeting. Set to it all. Thank you.